We are diving even deeper into this fabulous city of Charlottesville, Virginia, thanks to Reddit. Remember, Reddit was actually, the concept wasn't created here in Charlottesville, across the street at the Waffle House. And there's a plaque to remember that. Anyways, we're going to dive deeper. I was on Reddit the other day, and one of the threads was actually talking about what must you know before living in Charlottesville or coming. What's the insider tips before coming to Charlottesville? So today I've got 10 more essential tips, whether your time here is passing through or whether we're going to start talking about living in Charlottesville. Hidden gems, local hotspots. Get ready to explore Charlottesville like never before. Come on, let's go. So the first one on our list today, I'm actually going to give you free stuff. Well, not me, not really. But what I want you to know, free stuff, good stuff. When the students leave at the end of the school year, you need to either go driving around or dumpster diving through the university area. I'm telling you, they leave a ton of stuff. And the reason this one actually came up was because 'tis that time of year. We're getting ready to have UVA graduation, which is a day that you always avoid. You know not to have family and friends in because all the hotel rooms are booked. But starting in mid-April, when the students start packing up to leave, all the way through the week after graduation, you can drive around and find everything from kitchen appliances to furniture to just a plethora of stuff. They leave a ton of stuff curbside. They throw a ton of stuff away. And again, time frame, mid-April, mid-May. So on that same note, University of Virginia actually has a reuse store. It collects, sells, and reuses surplus property, including furniture, general supplies, items, computers, electronic equipment, things like that. So again, for back to school shopping, I'd be hitting that reuse store and finding out more. So there you go. Free stuff is our first thing that you need to know about. So this is the kind of stuff, and this is the reason I want you to hit subscribe and to hit the bell, because I don't want you to miss it. All this stuff is running around in my head. I've grown up here. I've known this stuff forever and a day, but it's so second nature to me. This is why I'm having to do multiples. Don't forget, you need to know this when living in Charlottesville. So make sure you hit subscribe and you don't miss any of the insider tip. Without further ado, let's move on to number 2. So number 2 on our list, I am sticking with that University of Virginia theme, is you do need to remember certain days. I have mentioned this before, but again, this one gets brought up so often and so much, it's always a memory. So I am giving you the calendar. Make sure that you know when move-in week is, because it's all these mama and papa bears bringing their little babies, even though they're adults, bringing their little babies, and they're not paying any attention. They don't know where they're going, and their mind is on anything but road safety. So know when move-in weekend is, know when the home football games are, because again, you get a huge influx of folks who are coming into the university area. They come in predominantly sober, but there's a whole lot of tailgating going on starting at like 8 a.m. And so by the time a game is over, it's just not a good look for you to be down and around anywhere that's subject to tailgaters or football game participants, that kind of thing. So stick by the calendar. Know when move-in weekend is, know when home football games are, and you'll thank me later. So number 3 on our list is actually one I did not know about. Now, I've talked about the fact that I perceive Charlottesville as a very far necessary area. The geographic, and it's obviously with my profession too, just with the geographic area being so large, most people have a car or two. But if you are not, or you're trying to step away from that, such as my daughter learned to drive when she was 16. But she did not want to drive, still doesn't want to drive. When she attended UVA law, she didn't want to drive then. So she didn't phase out of it. What I'm trying to get across, if you are somebody who doesn't want to drive and you want to utilize the public bus system, then what you need to know about is the app called ETA Spot app. It is available on the Apple App Store and Google Play. It is a free, look at me giving you all this free stuff. Okay, I'm not giving you the free app, but I'm telling you about it. It is a free mobile app for transit users. It provides real-time information about departure, arrival, schedules, route details. And I know most people call it Waze. See, this is my brain this morning because I have my coffee. I call it WASI. Don't ask why. Long story. It's that self-reported, everything's connected. It's like WASI for the commuter. So ETA Spot, real-time information, makes it wonderful for you to be able to utilize public transit. Next on our list is something that is good for your tummy, and that is Bodo's Bagels. I know you've probably heard about it. I know I've mentioned it. Bodo's Bagels, so we actually have 3 of them. They are all locally owned, locally run, and honestly, I think they're divine. Not only that, they are just an affordable alternative, affordable option. Bodo's is an affordable option for breakfast, lunch, and dinner because they're open from like 6 or 7 a.m. through around, I think it's 7 or 8 p.m. Each one has its own distinct clientele. The one that is off 29 North, that is located in downtown Charlottesville, it's right at that 250-29 interchange. That's the original one. And that one can be bustling, huge crowds, especially on, like last weekend we had the Foxfield races. So people going in before going out to Foxfield was huge. There's one down at the University Corner, obviously much smaller, but same fabulousness. And then there is one off of Preston Avenue. Here's what the secret is. Don't just think bagels and smear or bagels and cream cheese. But that in itself is phenomenal. They have quite the variety of bagels and quite the variety of cream cheeses. But you can get any sandwiches that you want made on any of the bagels. But did you know, well, you didn't know because you're not living in Charlottesville yet, but you should know that you can have any of those sandwiches heated or hot. So sometimes right now, spring, it's fine, but sometimes you want something warm and yummy for your belly. So do know that Bodo's Bagels can make all their sandwiches hot. And here's the other funny thing. If you pull up to Bodo's, this is the primary one. If you pull up to Bodo's and the line is out the door and wrapped around, don't worry about it. I'm telling you, Bodo's is more efficient than even Chick-fil-A is, right? So I know you know what that means. Do not be scared if the line is literally out the door. They're going to get through it and they're going to go through it fast. And actually, one of the local favorite things to try and do, because you get called by ticket number. So you go up to the register, you say, I want an ABC bagel with ABC stuff on it. And they're like, okay, that'll be $4.50. You pay and they go, and then they hand you the receipt that says, and your ticket number is 12 or 408, whatever it is. And then you wait for them to call that number. So the big game is to always be ticket number 001 in the morning. Maybe next time you come, you could be 001 at Bodo's Bagels. So again, this is why you need to reach out. Give me a call, shoot me a text, drop me an email. I am here. I am the one who responds. As you know by now, I'm sure I've grown up here. I actually do respond, and I would love to answer any questions you have or see how we can help you with living in Charlottesville. So without further ado, we are moving on to the next one. So the next one is actually one that I had never thought about, because again, when you're in the community and you're just sort of used to everything, you know I talk about the schlep factors for different places, different times. if a community, if a neighborhood has a good schlep factor, it probably has multiple ways to get to it and get away from it. So this one is one that I did read, and I thought it was a great point. That is number 5. If you are picking up family, friends, whatever, they are flying into Cho Airport, and you're the one who's going to pick them up and drive them to their hotel, to have lunch at the downtown mall, to Pantops, whatever it is. Don't bring them down 29 South. So don't bring them down and just turn onto 29 and drive the direct route. It was suggested, and I think this is brilliant, that you actually drive or take one of the parallel roads to 29. Those would be Earlysville Road. That would be like coming out of the airport and the circle at the airport. You would take the first exit off the roundabout. So you would go towards Earlysville Road and then come straight down. Gorgeous drive. You actually cross over the water. There's a bridge. There's beautiful houses, and especially during the spring. And it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous drive. It's 2-lane, 1 lane going in each direction. But again, this will give them the overview and the reason that you will, I'm telling you, you will love Charlottesville. So Earlysville Road, the other side would be coming out of the airport, stopping at the light at 29, and then crossing 29 and going down Profit Road. That will actually run you predominantly parallel and take you all the way over to Pantops. Again, 2-lane road, 1 lane in each direction, absolutely stunning and beautiful. Goes past predominantly farms, some very old established churches, but you're not going to be driving down Wawa Sheets Boulevard and noticing the CVS and the Walgreens staring at you, or the 4 McDonald's or the 12 car washes. So again, if you are picking people up at Cho, really think about that. Think about coming home or bringing them into town on a parallel road from 29. That way they don't get the 29 experience, and they'll be absolutely jealous for where you live. So number 6 on the list, and I'm throwing this in because a couple of my colleagues just had to deal with this. And actually, one of my clients from that, actually, I'm working with her, and she actually asked me about this. So number 1 is, want you to know, especially if you're coming from the north or the very far west. I think those are the 2 areas that we normally hear, I don't want to say pushback, but we hear irritation from people. True to form. We are raised to say yes ma'am, no sir, or no ma'am, no sir. It does not matter if you are 105, if you are 55, or if you're 5. It's always, we were just raised, it's ingrained. It's right up there with when your toddlers and your youngins are learning things and somebody gives them something, you always look at them and you go, say thank you. So here, and I do remember this, it is yes ma'am, no sir. And they were reminding me that was part of the etiquette, pure etiquette, nothing else. And I will share a story with this. One of my clients, she actually has a little boy and a little girl. The little boy had very long hair, and I had never met him. And he was very young, like 4 or 5, so very young. And I kept saying, yes, ma'am, to him. He would say, Miss Pam, is there a backyard? And I'd say, yes, ma'am, there sure is, blah, 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 blah. Miss Pam, is there so-and-so and so-and-so? No, ma'am, I'm sorry, there is not an ice cream store right next door. That kind of thing. And finally, he looked at his mother and he was like, why is she doing that? And I said, oh, I'm so sorry. This is just how I'm raised, to say yes, ma'am, and no, sir, and that kind of thing. And his mom looked at me and said, he's a young man. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't have my glasses on, and so sorry. Yes, sir, I will remember that. So again, it doesn't matter the age. We're not being condescending. We're not being rude. We're not being anything. It's part of who we are. It literally is just part of our dialect. Now, here's the one that my client did ask me about, and that is going to be the bless your heart. Okay, you've heard that, very tongue in cheek. Yes, it actually is very much used in Virginia, and it can mean it's a tonal backing to it, is what it means. You meet a brand new baby, and we all know that all babies are beautiful, but on the one-off, you see an ugly baby, and you may be like, oh, bless his heart. Yes, oh my goodness. That would be, oh, bless his heart. God hit you with the ugly stick. But normally that's good because it means they'll be absolutely stunning as soon as they start to grow up. But the other one is somebody does something stupid. You would just be like, bless your heart, as in, what were you thinking? So again, just depends on the tone. But yes, she will hear it. It is not always negative. It can be, I had to put my dog down. Okay, I had to help one of my dogs cross the Rainbow Bridge. I had multiple people say, oh, bless your heart. It was that empathy. It was that talking about sympathy and knowing what I was going through. It was truly blessing me, my family, my heart. So again, one phrase, yes, we use it, and it's all the tonal background to it as to what it means. Next off the list, this is actually going to be dealing with your car. So this is, again, one of those area-specific things. No, we do not have to deal with emissions testing. We do not have to have anything to do with emissions. That's just not something we deal with in the Commonwealth of Virginia. We do and are responsible for a yearly safety inspection. That is a statewide handled, I think it's actually falls under the state police or something. That safety inspection, you go in, it costs $20 to have your car examined. And most places won't let you set an appointment. It's one of those things that you show up to whatever garage and you're like, hey, I just need to get a car inspected. And they're like, cool, we should be able to get you in today. Or no, we already have our limit of inspections for today. So, and it's not very long once it's in the process, but it checks all the safeties, checks the brakes, checks your tires, checks your windshield wipers, checks your lights, turn lights, headlights, things like that. So again, it's all safety stuff. Something does not pass. For example, my car, my tires are getting very, very to the end of their life. So my husband knows they're not going to pass inspection. So he went over to Costco and ordered my new tires because we know we're going to have to get them at inspection. If you go through inspection and something fails, you don't get the number sticker that sticks on your front windshield for the year. You actually get a rejection sticker stuck on your windshield. That rejection sticker is valid for, I think it's 10 or 20 days, not sure. You still going to have to pay the $20 that it cost you for the inspection, even if you fail. But when you go back, so for example, in my case, if they failed me for my tires, they put on a rejection sticker, we get new tires. I would come back to the same place that gave me the rejection sticker, and they would re-inspect my tires and then slap on the new one. I don't believe it cost anything additional. So it's like, once you pay the $20, and you're going to have to pay the $20, whether you pass or fail. But if you do fail, then they'll re-inspect for that item that failed you and update you. So no emissions, but we do have inspection. Number 8 on our list is one of the best resources and unbelievable organizations that we have in our community. And that is going to be the Rivanna Trail. I don't know if it's I don't think it's called an association. The Rivanna Trail Organization, maybe. So again, pronounced Rivanna, like rye bread, Rivanna. we often will hear people say Rivanna. So it's Rivanna, the Rivanna River, the Rivanna Station, the military base, and in this case, the Rivanna Trail. What this is a trail system, and this is purely a volunteer organization, but they have taken, if you look, you can actually go all the way around walking, or I guess you could do bike riding too, or running, around the city of Charlottesville, like the entire big loop around. But you don't have to do it all at once. So what they do is they have the trail map set out, and they have each section marked as to what level and what the potential pitfalls would be. So I know like one section might only be a mile long, but it will say if you have to go through water, like a little stream, or if you have to traverse, say, a pipe to cross water or whatever it is, or if there is a sharp incline, or if there's slippery mud, things like that. They're all broken down. So you can do one and then another. You can break it up as much as you want. The other really fun thing they do is every single month, they actually have a community trail hike on the Rivanna Trail. So they have their volunteers who come out, and they actually lead a monthly walk hike through the areas, which is really, really cool and really nice. So if you're unsure, like you're just moving and living in Charlottesville, you could totally participate in this free activity. The other thing they do as well that you could get involved in is they actually do a monthly trail maintenance. Obviously, trees fall, rocks roll into the path, whatever it is. So every month they have volunteers come together, and they go through the trail system, and they clean up anything to make sure it's safe and as convenient as possible. So one of our big things, Rivanna Trail. Don't forget it. So number 9 on our list of the 10 things that I had to fill you in on. The 10 things, the 10 additional things, because I know if you check out my other videos, I've talked about, and most of the time it's not duplicated. Again, these are things you just live with especially when you've grown up here, so you don't think about them. But when you hear people talk, or you talk to in my case, when I talk to my clients, these are things that they're like, oh my gosh, you were so right about Bodos. Oh my gosh, you were so right about whatever. So again, this is why you need to call me, because I want to make sure that if you're living in Charlottesville, that you are in the know. But check out my other videos as well. Number 9 on our list is definitely a hidden gem. I've talked about it briefly, so I want to remind you, because this too was on that thread, and I just love the passion for the person who was mentioning it. That is the resource of the Cville Aboriginal Art Museum in Charlottesville, Virginia. The poster was saying this resource is so amazing. Dossiers are absolutely fabulous, and the collection changes. This person said you have to make sure that you actually investigate and you take in this phenomenal resource every single year. So again, if you're just visiting, brushing through, whatever it is, and that's what got you to my video, put that on your list. The Cville Aboriginal Art Museum, an amazing resource in fabulous Charlottesville, Virginia. Well, that brings us to number 10. We had to get here, right? So number 10 is make sure that you participate, make sure that you take advantage of looking through. It was once the largest telescope in the world, not in Virginia, not in the United States, in the world, the largest telescope. That's going to be found at the McCormick Observatory. 1884 is when this thing was installed, and it is still being utilized. The really cool part about it is they do have public viewing nights. Now, right now, there's some construction going on. So the viewing nights, which I want to say happen, I wouldn't call them frequent. I think at the best, they're about once every other month, but you need tickets for it. So you go online and you reserve your tickets. The tickets are free, but you have to reserve your tickets. And especially right now, with the maintenance construction going on, they've limited the number of people who can participate. So you definitely want to keep an eye. If you know you're going to be coming later this summer, later this fall, whatever it is, maybe that's something you want to take in and take advantage of. McCormick Observatory. 10 things that I thought you should know, 10 things I thought that were important to add on, because it's 10 more things that I want you to know. Another 10 things, another 10 reasons to participate in when living in Charlottesville. No, you don't have to be living here, but let's face it, if you're looking to live in Charlottesville, move to Charlottesville, the Charlottesville area, not necessarily Charlottesville City proper, but the Charlottesville area, which is about 6 different counties and the city of Charlottesville, reach out to me. Give me a call, shoot me an email, shoot me a text. I'm more than happy to chat with you about it. I do not do rentals. I'm happy to give you as much feedback as I can with rentals, because again, I totally understand and appreciate how scary it would be to move from either out of the country, out of the state, into this area and just not know. Many people will do, either a short-term rental or first-year rental until they know the area. And also the market's crazy. So quite honestly, a lot of people are maybe not finding or getting into a house as fast as they want. Anyways, that's a whole nother story. Make sure you reach out to me. If there is something you want to know, please leave it in the comment section below. I love it when people ask me these things. I listen to my clients. This is where I get a lot of my information that I'm sharing with you. I read my comments. I do want to know, and I want to know what it is you want to know. If you've gotten anything out of this video, would love your thumbs up. It does remind me and let me know that people are watching, and it also helps me tweak what I'm videoing. If you don't want to know about Timbuktu and only 4 of you watch the video, then probably not going to be doing any more videos on Timbuktu. I get it. Not my judgment. I am not here. This is a judgment-free zone. So until next time, I'll talk to you soon.